Yeah, I pushed it. Hey everyone, and welcome to another episode of Smart Moves.
Oh, and I'm drinking my energizing midnight grape. It's delicious.
Coke Zero. In this episode, we're going to cover some more cards that have been revealed from the upcoming Hearthstone expansion, which I think we've got about 15 or so. We're going to kick things off starting with Druid, and the card we have to talk about is Forest Guide. This is a 4 mana 1/6. At the end of your turn, both players draw a card.
Yes.
So I think when this card was first revealed, I told you this is not the recruit minion I was looking for. And I've been keeping an eye out. Every neutral card and every druid card that comes out, I'm like, is this going to be good for my recruit druid deck? Because it's not tier 1, but I enjoy it quite a bit. This is not a recruit minion that I think I want.
No, recruit because he's drawing you cards. With a recruit, you don't want to draw cards.
Yeah, you don't want to draw a whole bunch of extra stuff because then you get your your recruit minions that you're trying to cheat out, and you don't want a hungry dragon in hand. So, but I've been hearing some things about Mill Druid, and obviously there's this like hand druid archetype they're trying to create this expansion. So, do you have any thoughts on those two?
I don't. I haven't been following any of the, Reddit or Hearthstone or anything. I'm. You remember when I first started playing and I said that I really like Jeeves, and you're like, "That's a bad card." But, Jeeves actually sees a lot of play now in Wild because he's like the most powerful draw mechanic there is. Apparently, that's a thing in like competitions, Wild and stuff. If you're playing like an aggro deck, you put Jeeves in, you're drawing 3 cards every turn. So I don't know. Maybe there's some place to play this. I don't get it. I don't get it. I like it though because it seems stupid, and I love stupid cards.
I really like the artwork.
I like how fat it looks. It's like a berry.
Yeah. There's a joke for card reveals that once you start talking about the artwork, you're probably done with the card.
Right. Well,
Yeah,
what do you think? Like? Is there any place you can see it fitting?
I've been wanting to do a mill deck of some sort for a little while. I don't like the rogue style that with cold light oracles and all that kind of stuff. But I've been wanting to do mill with druid or priest. I know this sounds weird, but I don't know. I don't have a lot to say about this card yet because I don't know what the rest of this hand druid is going to be like, how else they're going to support it. There's got to be some kind of payoff. We haven't seen any of the druid legendaries. I imagine one of them is going to be a hand size legendary, and maybe this will make sense at that point. So
The problem with me, I think, is that it's not enough of anything. Like, it's not a powerful draw effect. It's only 1 card. That's unless you've already naturalized a minion or two, you're really not doing that much to them.
right.
And then you wait an entire turn before you draw another card.
Right, and that's the thing. They get the extra card and can use it before you because this doesn't trigger until the end of your turn. So it just feels like giving your opponent an advantage.
Well, yeah, but the same way Cold Light Oracle gave your opponent advantage, if this was, I don't know, a little bit stronger, you could more easily utilize it for burning cards. But
Yeah,
maybe with Drakari Enchanter or something.
but with Cold Light Oracle, at least if that was the first thing you played on your turn, you had the opportunity to use the cards that you drew if that made sense. Whereas this one, it doesn't matter when you plunk this guy down on the board, he draws you a card at the end of your turn, and you don't get to use it till your next turn, but your opponent gets a card right away that they can use on their turn. So
Is there ever a time when you want that to happen?
just mill, I think. Like if you're trying to mill them, if their hand is full and this guy's on the board, then it just mills a card before they have a chance to get rid of any cards.
Oh, no, that's rotating out. I was gonna say Daring Reporter, maybe. But
Right,
no,
yeah. But that seems like a weird
8-mana
combo.
combo.
Yeah.
A 5/5 on board.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't
So
know.
that's the only Druid card, the only new one so far. Next up, we've got the second Hunter legendary. So we'd seen the first one, Houndmaster Shaw. Your other minions have Rush. Now we've got Imerus, a 10 mana 8/8 dragon. Battle Cry, double the attack and health of all minions in your hand. I am pretty much of the opinion of a lot of people where it's turn 10. I'm Hunter. I've got cards in hand, and I'm going to play this guy. And what? I see this card as something that might be good in an expansion or two, but probably doesn't fit in anywhere right now. And that's really all I have to say about it. It's obviously a powerful effect. I just think it's a little weirdly placed in Hunter right now. So,
Yeah.
what do you think?
I think we've touched on it before about how they're seemingly trying to build a control hunter archetype with the Hound Master guy.
Yeah.
And this kind of goes along with that theme where you're controlling the board for as long as you can. Then maybe you drop Emerus and get even more like I'm going to win now board presence.
Yeah.
But it's weird to me that they picked a dragon, and that it's turn 10 and you're a hunter. Like, okay. I don't know. It is weird. There are a lot of cards in this expansion so far where I'm just thinking, oh, well, if I'm a rogue or a priest and I steal this card, that's going to be awesome. And this is one of those cards. But right now, I'm not seeing a ton of use for it. Because, if you got this out somehow, like Recruit, and then you cheated it back out, with Sonya or something, and you could actually play it before turn 10 or play it whenever you wanted to get additional value, that would be cool. But the fact that you're waiting until turn 10 to play a capstone, and hunters very rarely have a lot of damage in hand. So, a lot of beasts anyways. Maybe you could combine it with the DK. And one of my favorite things to make Stitch Beast with the Death Knight is the Dispatch Kodo. Imagine a Dispatch Kodo that you've combined with, I don't know, Duskboar, and now you've got a 12/9 that does 12 damage out of hand or something. Yeah. That'd be really cool.
Yeah, and that's why I think maybe in a couple expansions this card could be good, but right now, with the currently revealed cards, it seems out of place.
Oh, Dispatch Kodo was hand buffed too. That's going to be gone. Damn it.
Yep.
Not for you, but for me.
For Mage, we got the Vex Crow. 4 mana 3/3 beast. Whenever you cast a spell, summon a random 2-cost minion.
I like this card. I mean, I know everybody's like, oh, Doomsayer. Yeah, but everybody also played Piloted Shredder.
Yeah.
Everybody played Piloted Shredder. And I personally, just because I love the effect of it, I always like Summoning Stone. Summoning Stone is my favorite card probably of all time, even though it's a stupid meme card. If you can get Summoning Stone to stick, it's the most fun card in the game. And I'd like to have Vexcrow there for the same reason. And also, Vexcrow is a lot cheaper. It's a lot easier to combo with, whatever spell. So, I think it's cool.
I don't know what I think about this card yet, simply because there's only 2 Mage cards revealed, and they don't really have a lot to do with each other. So, I still really like the artwork. I think the effect could potentially be pretty cool. I kind of want to see what other Mage cards there are and what 2-cost minions, if any, they add into this set. So That's where I'm at. Middle ground. I think it could be good, could be bad. I obviously like random effects, so maybe
One thing,
Deck of Wonders.
yeah, something that I think you and I complained a lot about with the last expansion was that they were really shoehorning archetypes that didn't already exist. They're like, this is the deck you're going to play now. Big spell mage. Well, I like that this is completely the opposite of the last expansion. This card synergizes mostly with really small spells. So I like that they're giving you a way to be like, you don't have to play that if you don't want.
Yeah.
Because I was getting tired of being like, oh, well, this is the only mage archetype that works because this is what they printed support for. So I like that they're giving me options now, and I can kind of choose how I want to play mage if I'm going to play mage.
Yeah, and I'll bring this up at the end when we're talking about the overall feel of the expansion so far. But I do agree with what you're saying there. So, Paladin, we got another new spell. So this is another common 2 cost. Sound the bells. Echo. Give a minion +1/+2. So it's a divine favor that you can echo. That costs 1 more mana. Not divine favor. What is it? Divine spirit?
No.
Something like that. Divine favor that you can echo. That'd be ridiculous.
Do anything.
Here we are on Smart Moves of ending the most broken shit in the game. So anyway, we have this buff. Give a minion +1/+2 for 1 mana. That's a currently existing spell. So add a mana, and you gain the ability to echo this. So the big thing that I've seen being said is that this could be really awesome in Quest Paladin. And I know that you've played a lot of Quest Paladin, so what do you think about this spell in regards to Quest Paladin and, just in general?
My experience with Quest Paladin is you can. This is going to sound weird. I did Quest Paladin because I really wanted to make it work. But the reward for Quest Paladin is so underwhelming that I really almost don't even like calling it Quest Paladin. I'd rather just call it Buff Paladin or something.
Right.
Because if
people know Galvadon's coming, right? And he just gets polymorphed or countered or
the big
whatever.
Use I think that Galvadon possesses is that with Paladin you can just have so many threats. You've got Lynessa, you've got Tyrion Fordring, you've got Galvadon, you've got Sunkeeper Tarim. I think the biggest value in Galvadon is that eventually you can just say, you can't answer everything I've got. It's just not going to happen. You have that one more big threat that they have to deal with. So I just don't think Quest Paladin's a very good deck. But, I don't know. It seems okay.
That's how my Recruit Druid works, is essentially, I keep pulling out these high-statted 4-drops. Gaining armor and things like that, and we went over this on the other channel when we went over my Recruit Druid, where I'd said, look, you just got to put big threats. My deck has Lich King, Tyrannus, Ragnaros, like these big guys, and it's like at some point you run out of most decks run out of answers for all those big minions plus all those high statted 4-drops that I'm cheating out and that kind of stuff. And that's where the deck really wins, is because at some point you've just got big minions on board and they have no way to deal with them anymore. So I think that's accurate for Quest Paladin as well. I think the common thing that's said is, it's susceptible to silence and polymorph, like everything is.
Yeah.
Almost.
I get so tired of the polymorph says hi. Yeah, polymorph says hi to 99.9% of cards in the game. Like right. Tyrannus is about the only card that's not applicable for.
Yeah, and their Psychic Scream says hi. But what do you think? Okay, so outside of Quest Paladin, what do you think about Sound the Bells? You think it costs too much, even with the Echo?
I think that's something they're intentionally doing. is they're making these Echo cards really expensive for what they are because you're going to be using them more than once.
Because 4 mana, you get +2/+4, which is worse than Blessing of Kings.
Yes.
6 mana, you get +3/+6, which is one extra stat on Spike Ridge Steed, but you don't get the taunt afterwards.
Yeah, I don't think this is a card you play by itself. Like Blessing of Kings is always good because you're getting a huge amount of, what's the word? Initiative, pretty much,
Yeah,
by
yeah.
playing that. Same thing with Bone Mare and Fungalmancer. I think the best way to use this card is with something like, and this is going to be a weird one, but like Arcane Anomaly. You play Arcane Anomaly, and then you play this 4 times on Arcane Anomaly, so now that's all of a sudden like, I don't know, a 5/15 or a 5/20 or something, and that's only a 2 card combo. Or Mana Addict. You could play Mana Addict, and if you have one full turn, that's just about an OTK with Mana Addict and Sound the Bells. So that's what?
Oh, what about in Wild? The chicks from what is it? Is it the Grand Tournament? You know, the ones where you target them and they deal random damage, or like
Yeah.
that could be interesting with a
Yeah.
Echo buff card.
So I don't think that Sound the Bells as a buff is very good, but when comboed with minions that are like, whenever you cast a spell or whenever you target this, I know a lot of people talked about the Borax. Those are situations when Sound the Bell is going to be very powerful. When you want to cast
Yeah.
turn. Or maybe you got, if you are doing that combo, you could also slip in a couple of Wild again. You could slip in a couple of Arcane Giants. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
now in one turn you've dropped their price by 5.
All right.
So I think Spell Paladin, that's a pretty cool archetype that doesn't exist.
Yeah. Yeah, I like that. I like that idea. That's pretty cool. So, all right. Priest. We got a bunch of stuff for Priest, so we're gonna come back to Priest. Same with Rogue. Nothing new for Shaman. Nothing new for Warlock. And we got a couple things for Warrior, so I guess we'll hop back. We'll do Priest. So
Fine. Just do it.
Priest. First up, we have Coffin Crasher. Let me see if they added the other card yet, or if I still have to use Hearthstone. They added it. Cool.
Oh,
All right. So, Coffin Crasher. 6 mana, 6/5, Death Rattle. Summon a Death Rattle minion from your hand. I'm just gonna let you have this one because you love this effect.
I do love Death Rattles. Death Rattles are cool.
No, I mean the summoning stuff from your hand thing.
Yeah, I do, but this is so big though. Uh,
It's a
that
Bone Drake.
Yeah, but I'm used to doing it with like Rogue, where you cheat stuff out of your hand.
Yeah.
Um, I honestly haven't put that much thought into it. You talk about it, and I'll see what I can think of.
Well, I haven't been playing a lot of Priest. They have a lot of overpowered archetypes, and really, Priest has been one of the classes that I just, in general, don't have a lot of fun playing. But I finally did get the Priest quest from a pack. So I'm interested in trying Death Rattle Priest, and this seems like a pretty good card to put in there as a high-end Death Rattle. And also, there's plenty of good stuff you can cheat out, like your Obsidian statues. Those are great. So, yeah,
That's just Priest even better.
I just think this is a fairly solid card all around. If you have enough Death Rattles in your deck, I mean, 6 mana, 6/5 is not bad. If Bone Drake gives you a random dragon. And the
Yeah,
other thing is, this doesn't summon a 1/1. It summons
right.
the full minion. So
Uh,
in Wild, if you have Deathwing Dragon Lord, this summons the full version of Deathwing Dragon Lord from your hand, which can be crazy.
yeah, I think that that kind of annoys me. I don't think Big Priest really needed a lot of help, and I feel like Coffin Crasher is a relatively cheap way to get things out of your hand that you really already shouldn't be getting out of your hand.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
so.
I think a common theme with Priest for me in this expansion is like, wait, what? Why are they getting such strong cards again? They're
I think the reason that Priest is getting strong cards is because Dragon Priest is going to kind of die.
yeah,
Dragonet Operative really carried that whole thing. They're not going to be Dragonet Operative, not going to be Bookworm. Like you said, Deathwing is going to Wild. So they
Dragonfire
are,
Potion is gone.
yes, if they're running Duskbreaker, they're going to have to find. I don't even know what they're going to play. I saw a guy running Fairy Dragons the other day as an activator. Maybe they'll run Nightmare Amalgam to keep that working. But it's weird to me that they're reinforcing that. But, Priest has always been kind of the class of value. So maybe that people will just shove this in there. Bone Drake is staying, right? That's nice, the Frozen Throne.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe it's just another value-generating card for them. So it says summon. It doesn't pull a card out of your hand.
Right.
It just summons it. So you're getting additional value when this dies. That's stupid.
Yep.
As if priests need any more value. Come on. I mean, I guess with Dragonet Operative, they're losing a lot of it, but still.
Well, you're gonna love these other cards. So let's talk about the first Priest legendary, Lady in White. 6 mana, 5/5, Battle Cry. Cast Inner Fire on every minion in your deck. So set their attack equal to their health.
Seems too good.
Well, okay, so it's every minion in your deck, right? So anything you've drawn won't get the buff. So you'll have to play this and then rely on pulling out the things that, you really want to play after the fact. But this means you could put some cards that have... I can see why a lot of these cards that have been revealed so far have high attack, low health. But I think you'll be able to, especially in Wild, play some ridiculous stuff. Like, I used to... This is when I did play Priest back around Nax and GVG. One of the things I liked to do was a Death Rattle Priest that played Baron Rivendare. And I had Inner Fire, so I could put him out, get value off of him and Kel'Thuzad, get these Death Rattles triggering twice and resummoning things on death. And then, Baron Rivendare is a 1 mana, or he's a 1/7. 1 attack, 7 health. So Inner Fire on him, all of a sudden it's like, whoa, you got a 7/7 on the board. And that was pretty strong back then. But just in Wild, we're talking about this Death Rattle Priest. Well, if you have Lady in White, there's so many good Death Rattles that have low attack, high health. Just turning a Sludge Belcher into a 5/5, or turning Baron Rivendare into a 7/7 automatically. Like, I think the effect is really strong. The 6 mana point and the fact that it only casts it on things in your deck, I think that's something to really strongly consider before you just jump on the, oh my goodness, this card is so strong train.
I am on the train. I think it's pretty strong. Every card that Priest is set up that way. Priest of the Feast. Duskbreaker is not, but most of their cards are Obsidian Statue. People might start running Ultrasaur in Big Priest just so that they can pull out a 14/14. That would be crazy. So, I can just see this being an auto-include in pretty much every Priest deck. It's really powerful. One thing that's weird to me, though, is I remember a lot of people were making fun of the whole Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo like a year ago, because they're like, oh, I remember when I first started playing Hearthstone and I thought that combo was so broken. And now that's like the most powerful deck on ladder just about is Divine Spirit Inner Fire combo Priest. So I think it's weird that they're reinforcing this deck that was gone and now is back and is really powerful. Now they're like, hey, well, let's do something with that. Here's a card we had planned a long time ago and now we're going to put it back in the thing.
Yeah. So. Yeah, and it was a fairly good combo early on in Hearthstone, and then it just, got overrun by everything else that was going on. I too think it's really funny to see it back.
Yeah.
But anyway, I think this card poses some nice deck building challenges or problems for you to solve. I think it's pretty interesting, and I like. I just in general like this card. I think like I would be happy with getting this card and then trying to figure out what deck to build with it.
Hmm.
Um, so let's take a look at the second Priest Legendary, Chameleos, 1 mana 1/1
Ooh,
Beast. Each turn this is in your hand, transform it into a card your opponent is holding.
that's so cool.
And not a minion. It can be a minion, weapon, quest, hero, spell, anything.
That's so cool.
So obviously this can transform into the same thing, repeatedly. So maybe you're playing against warrior and this turns into a fiery war axe, and then the next turn it randomly turns into a fiery war axe again, which is not so great. But for a 1 cost legendary, it's only going to take up 1 deck slot. You can get a lot of information about what's going on in your opponent's hand if you have this around. And it also gives you the ability to potentially play a strong card that you can't get as a priest, which
Right.
is pretty cool. But you also might just get it turned into a weird combo piece, like what is it, Deadly Poison or
Yeah.
something, where it's like,
Well, I
oh
mean,
well.
obviously be weaker in some matchups and stronger in others.
But it's a
So,
cool card. I
like
like it.
against Q block, it would be incredibly powerful unless you ended up with Skull of the Minari. But I'd take a Dark Pact or a Void Lord or a Blood Reaver Gul'dan. That would just be really solid. I think it's cool. Yeah, well, not
Yeah,
only does it give you the info like you were saying, but you can get class legendary, especially since all of the cards that I really liked are rotating out. Um, the tri-class cards where you
yep.
could, get a card from one of 3 different classes. It's good that they have something to, I mean, they already had Thought Steal and all that stupid stuff, but I like having that kind of functionality.
Yeah, and since legendary weapons came in, I've been messing around a lot with Molten Blade just because it's fun on Warrior to get shit like Aluneth or the Rune Spear or any of that kind of stuff is just it's just fun. I think so. I think playing this against your opponent and getting a cool like DK that you wouldn't normally have been able to get, or imagine if you get Hagatha against a shaman and you're priest. So I feel like you've got a lot better random spells.
Oh,
Um, so
oh, is it not shaman spells? Is it random random?
well, I'm not sure because when you get the rune spear on warrior, it just says discover a spell,
And it's not
not
spells, probably.
specific. So
Yeah,
even so, if it is shaman, like you're still it'd be a cool thing, I think.
yeah.
So, but those are the priest cards. Got a bunch of stuff for rogue. So first up, we got the Cursed Castaway, another 6 mana 5/3 pirate. We got a new pirate. That's 2 pirate support cards already, if you count the amalgam. This says rush, death rattle, draw a combo card from your deck.
That is pretty cool. I have not seen this card. I like it.
Well, why do you like it?
Um, I like it because it's removal, and Rogue has a ton of removal, but it's very multifaceted in how it works. Like, yeah, you could play it just as a removal spell, but you might also have some combo that you're kind of setting up. Like, okay, well, this way I can kill this thing, and then it's going to pull out, I don't know, eviscerate for me, and then I can clear this. I feel like it's a skill intensive card both in deck building and in actual play. You have to think about what card you're probably going to get, or you have to build around it. because you don't just want a 6 mana 5/3. That's that's okay with Rush, but it's not great.
Right.
Um, so I think it's a really cool. Yeah, I think it's really cool.
And we haven't seen any new combo cards for Rogue from this expansion yet, so maybe there will be something really interesting that pops up. Yeah, I think it's a card. I really think it's going to depend on. I feel like this card could definitely create some sort of broken nonsense in the hands of the right rogue players. But I don't know what it is, so I'm not really willing to predict the power level of it just quite yet. Next up, we got Cheap Shot. It's a new rogue spell, 2 mana. Echo, deal 2 damage to a minion. So everyone was losing their minds about this card in Miracle Rogue because with Gadgets and Auctioneer, you can play this one card a bunch of times and get a bunch of card draw and deal 2 damage. Lots of commentary on the artwork. Yeah, I don't know.
Okay. I don't think. I mean, I don't think it's that good with Miracle Rogue personally, because with Miracle Rogue, typically you're playing the whole Auction Master or Gadgets and Auctioneer combo, like turn 7, turn 8. You don't have a lot of mana left over.
Yeah.
You're playing cards like Prep, Coin, maybe Shiv, maybe Fan of Knives. You're not going to be trying to play a 2 mana Echo spell multiple times. Normally, you play Gadgets and Auctioneer and it dies the next turn. So you have to do everything you can with it in one turn. So I don't think that combo is incredibly viable. I mean, if you're Miracle Rogue and you get your Auction Master or Auctioneer to stick, you probably just already won. So I don't really like it there. To me, the biggest application just seems putting spell damage on it, and you could just use it pretty much as a board clear, a really good board clear.
Spell damage works really well with this, and also I think a lot of times as rogue you have very specific types of removal, like deal 5 to this, deal 2 damage to an undamaged minion, Fan of Knives doing 1 across the board, and I kind of see Cheap Shot as the cleanup spell. If you've got minions with variable amounts of health on the opposite side of the board, then you can use your other cards and then kind of cheap shot as needed to clear some other things in combination with, whatever sort of board you have set up.
I can see why it's common, because I think it's okay, and there are some cool applications for it, but I don't think it's great. Maybe you could use it with, I don't know. My first thought's like Gurubashi Berserker, and just play that one turn, then play this, I don't know, turn 8, hit it 3 times, then you've got a big guy, which is silly. I don't know why you would do that. It's silly, but maybe.
Hey, but Divine Spirit Inner Fire came back, so
yeah, I don't know.
Gurubashi used to be a pretty big deal in the
Gurubashi is still a big deal, I think.
So especially in arena and against mage. So then we got the last newly revealed rogue card, Wanted. This is a 4 mana rogue spell. Deal 3 damage to a minion. If that kills it, add a coin to your hand.
This seems like an auctioneer card to me.
Yeah?
Mm-hmm.
Just a way to generate more coins. Well, Counterfeit Coin is going away in Standard. Right, so there's no...
What? Oh, Counterfeit Coin.
Yeah, there's no extra coin type things in Standard.
Yes, so you prep, you hit something with this, you get a coin, you're able to continue the combination. That's like 3 cards you're, drawing and playing. It's pretty good. So yeah, I think this is more... I think it's weird that they're making Miracle Rogue, like, once again, like, why are they reinforcing this kind of old archetype? But,
Yeah, I don't know. This seems pretty underwhelming for the types of rogue that I like to play. So,
what do you play? Thief Rogue? Burgle Rogue?
No, I play Well, right now I play Spider Rogue. Spider Rogue. Spider Rogue.
Isn't that just Miracle Rogue though?
No, I don't play like a miracle version. I just play like put a shit ton of spiders in my opponent's deck and copy them and put more spiders in and then just cold
Do you have
light to draw cards.
dig and stuff in there so you can do even more spider stuffs?
No.
Do you have haunted creeper spider?
No, I should though. Do all the spiders. I'll get
All the
Hadronox.
Hadronox, yeah, steel Hadronox.
So, all right, and then we've got a bunch of cards for Warrior here. Well, two, but they're legendaries. So first up, we got Darius Crowley. Crowley. 5 mana 4/4 rush. After this attacks and kills a minion, gain +2/+2. So, first of the Warrior legendaries. What do you think?
I think it's good, but it's only good if you draw it before turn 5. That's what I think. Because this is like a cleanup card. You play this, and then you guys have been like building your boards, and then you're like, okay, well one of your minions is gone, and now I've got 6/3 on board. Okay, well now another one of your minions is gone, and I've got an 8/1 or whatever it ends up being. But if you play it like turn 7, turn 8, when they've got their 5/6s on board, then you just got a crappy 4/4 that does nothing, pretty much.
Yep. I would agree, and I also would say that the power level of this card is going to be really dependent upon the strength of 4-drops and how they're statted. 4-drops and 3-drops, because if a lot of them have 4 health or 4 attack or 5 attack, or this guy's kind of garbage. But if you hit a totem or you hit a dude from a paladin or anything like that, hit a little druid token or something.
Or if you could somehow recruit this before turn 5, that'd be pretty solid.
Yeah. So yeah, I think it's a solid card, not super overpowered, but not too weak. Definitely dependent upon the other cards that are being played a lot. So, and then we got this crazy nonsense. This is the other Warrior legendary, the Black Howl Gunspire. 7 mana 3/8, can't attack. Whenever this minion takes damage, deal 3 damage to a random enemy.
That's cool.
So no buffs. You could potentially get 24 damage, 24 random damage out with it.
Especially you, because you play wild. People are talking about Bouncing Blade.
Yep. I just want to get like a couple of these somehow, like copy them, and then a couple of blade flingers or axe flingers, and
you could definitely get 2 of these because Warlock or Warrior has 2 different spells that do that.
Yeah, right? You got what is it? Sudden Genesis.
You got Sudden Genesis and Blood Warriors.
Yeah.
So you could use either one of those to get multiple copies of this.
And do some cool... I've been playing like Taunt Warrior. That's been the thing that I like to play. Taunt Warrior, or also like an Armor Up Cthulhu Warrior. But I got the Warrior DK not too long ago, and I started just messing around with it for quests, throwaway quests, like play this many Warrior cards. So I usually try to play the cards I normally wouldn't play just to mess around with them. And I was really kind of digging like all the math involved with trying to get the most value out of the damage and all that stuff. So I'm actually kind of excited for this card. It comes out pretty late, but
I think that one of the big, I think this card itself is kind of bad.
Yeah.
But one of the cool things that this does is kind of the same way Rockface works. Rockface, low-statted, expensive minion that doesn't have much immediate impact. But one thing that it does do is it prevents your opponent from using a lot of AoE. If they don't have direct removal for this, it's going to cause them a ton of trouble. So this
Yeah.
is going to be one of those like a burglar bully against control paladin. You can't play any spells, or then they've got their OTK online. With this, unless you can just get rid of it, you're going to end up taking a ton of damage because if this sticks one turn and you've only dealt one or two damage to it, then you know what warrior is going to do to it.
Yep.
So
Whirlwind or um, Cruel Taskmaster or
whatever.
whatever it takes.
Yeah,
So
Blood Razor.
yeah, I don't know if the card's good, but I think it's cool.
I think it's cool.
I like that there's I think thematically it's pretty on point.
I wish I had Rock Face because this plus Rock Face, man, that's some late game value.
And then last up, we got several neutral cards to cover.
I have not seen a lot of cards.
Well, it's just the top four here. So we've got Ravencaller, 3 mana, 2/1. Battlecry, add 2 random 1-cost minions to your hand. So my thoughts on this are that it could be good or terrible depending on the class you're playing. Like, I think Paladin playing this and getting the 1/1 Divine Shield taunt thing, like, okay. That seems pretty alright. Maybe even, the new Shaman card, playing this and getting 2 Witch's Apprentice, 0/1 taunts that give you a random Shaman spell.
I
That's
think
not too
generally
bad.
pretty good shaman. You got your Bloodlust, you got your Hagatha. There's some cool stuff you could do with it. You got Flame Tongue Totem that all would work well with this. A lot of people, I think, are saying that it's just strictly worse than Igneous Elemental or something like that. I don't think that's true.
I don't
Uh,
either.
because if you, I've seen so many times when people get that stupid Righteous Protector from
Yep.
Paladin, some random whatever, and I'm like, okay, so now I'm just behind a turn because you pulled that out of your ass.
Yep.
I think the biggest application I can see this in, though, is Arena. These kind of cards that generate like things for you to keep up pressure, really handy. I would definitely draft this in Arena if I saw it.
Yeah. Next up, we got Clockwork Automaton. This is a 5 mana 4/4 mech. Look at that. 2 mech synergies in the set. Thanks, Nightmare Amalgam. This one says double the damage and healing of your hero power.
This is a weird card because it's common. They normally reserve effects like this for epics.
Right. And I think there's just some question. Like, so for Warlock, is it tap and you deal 4 damage to yourself?
Yes.
That's awful.
Yeah, but if you have Blood Reaper or Gul'dan, you deal 6 damage and you
Right.
heal for 12.
Yeah.
So I think it's a soft taunt. It's one of those things. If you can get it online and not die, then you'll probably win.
Of course, it's not a 4-drop that I can cheat out with Recruit. Oh well.
Yeah, but no, I think it's cool. Uh, I
I've
think
been waiting for them to bring more mechs back. Like, there just hasn't been a lot of mechs added since like GVG, and
like
it,
Sabretooth, Leaper on
it's
it.
it's been like the bastard stepchild of tribes. Like, we get beasts, we get dragons, we've gotten a decent amount of pirates since then. Demons, we got like all these different tribes, Murlocs even,
I think
and
that's true. Yeah,
we barely have gotten any mechs since GVG.
I think
And
it's just a thematic thing, though, right? Like, it's hard to just weasel in. Oh, well, the Lich King has a pet robot. I don't know how you can just introduce robots. But this makes sense because it's like, oh, the colonial period, kind of steampunky. Let's throw in a robot.
yeah, it's still stupid.
Yeah.
So
But
yeah, it's
anyway,
nice to have another mech. I think.
powerful card. It's weird to me that they would just kind of like, I don't know. It's almost like they're kind of taking. I guess it's just power creep, but like Prophet Velen's already a thing, and then
Yeah, and
they
this goes with what, Baku. That's the other thing people are saying, like, oh, well, if you have this and Baku in Hunter, your hero power does 6 damage
yeah,
for 2
but that's
mana.
so late game though. So I don't know. Maybe. Wait. Mech Warper synergy though. You get 2 Mech Warpers online, man. Get this thing out on like turn 3. Yeah.
Yeah, that's why I said I'm glad that it's a mech. I'm wanting to the whole mechs thing just gets tossed aside because there hasn't been a lot of support for it since those original expansions. Because that's the thing. I think piloted Shredder would still be decent if there was mech support. Like, it was always a really powerful card, and it's been outstripped by the crazy stuff that you can do now. But if you look at it, there's been no mech synergies. There's been just dragons.
Yeah, I think that's a good point.
So I'm hoping that maybe next expansion with the ethereals and stuff, there'll be an excuse to have some mechs or something in there. Doesn't make a whole lot of sense based on what I know from World of Warcraft, but there was kind of a lot of like goblin gnome stuff going on in that zone, so maybe.
I kind of wish they would add another tribe. I always wish that Worgans were a tribe, but I guess they're a race. Got to make it racist.
All right, next up we got the Blackwalled Pixie. This is a 3 mana 3/4 battle cry. Refresh your hero power.
That's so strong. I hate this. I hate this card.
It's you've got to have 7, 7 mana to use this if you're not using Raza.
This isn't one of those cards that you
5.
don't just put it in a deck. You put this in a deck where it's like, my specific goal is to hero power. You put it in Control Paladin. Oh, well, I didn't get a spell. Well, guess what? Blackwall Pixie. Or, some stupid whatever shit like that. Or you put it with Raza when it costs 1. And you're like, oh, well, no, I guess you wouldn't need it with Raza because it already does the thing. But, there's some stupid combo that you can do with this card. And it's also got vanilla stats. So I think this is going to be a really powerful card that's... I don't know if this is going to get nerfed or some other card is going to get nerfed because of this card, but I feel like this is going to end up being a dickhole card. I'm just guessing.
So you put down your warrior tower, right? Next turn, you've got DK Garrosh, your hero power, do 3 damage, you drop this guy, hero power again, do 3 more damage. Look at the combos. That's not strong at all. But man, if you had this guy and the last guy down with Blood Reaver Gul'dan,
yeah,
12 damage and 24 healing in 1 turn, that'd be disgusting.
Yeah, there's all kinds of stupid stuff you can do with this. I don't like it. Like, I like it, but I don't like it. It's going to cause something that I hate, and I don't know what that is, but I know I'm going to hate this card. Mark my words.
I think it might be okay in Arena, depending on the class you're playing.
Yeah, Arena is all about generating value late game, so yeah. I can see getting an extra totem out or extra card draw or something late game. Be nice.
And then the last neutral card we have is the Scale Worm. This is a 4 mana 4/4 beast. Battle cry: if you're holding a dragon, gain +1 attack and rush. So if you're holding a dragon, this becomes a 5/4 with rush.
Hey, it's got synergy with that Hunter legendary. Right?
Yeah, sure. I'm pretty underwhelmed by this card.
I think it's really good. But I mean, it's a 4/4. What was the card that Warriors got? What was it?
That was the Militia Commander.
Commander is what? A 4/2?
No, it's a 4 mana 5/5 rush that
4 mana,
loses
5/5.
the 3 attack.
Okay, so it's the same thing.
But no condition on it either.
No condition, but lower attack later. So I think this is comparable power level, and people are talking about how good this card is. If you're running a deck that already has dragons, I see no reason not to put Scale Worm in there. It's just a good card, good stats. Yeah, I would play it.
Yeah.
So.
Well, that's all the new cards we have so far. We've still got a little bit over a week's worth of reveals left, so plenty of more things on the way. And I think, let's see, how many cards have we seen so far? 42 out of 135, so we've seen about a third of the set. A little less than a third, but that's a lot of cards left. We don't have legendaries for Druid. We're missing tons of Hunter cards, Mage, Paladin still. We've got
what, like a little less than 2 weeks probably?
I'm still expecting the expansion to come out on the 12th.
Well, yeah.
Which would be basically 2 weeks away. But yeah, we've got huge holes in Warlock, Paladin, and Mage still.
You got huge holes.
Still got some neutral legendaries. I think two neutral legendaries. So lots of stuff in here, and commons and rares, man, they make up a good portion of the decks that become viable. So I think we still have a long ways to go before we have a good idea of how this set is shaping up. But that does bring me to what I wanted to mention here at the end of the stream, which is general impressions and feel for the expansion now that we've, seen about a third of it. I think so. This is my personal take on it, and you can agree or disagree, but this feels kind of like the Grand Tournament did when it was coming out, which is, when the Grand Tournament was coming out, they were showing cards, and the general kind of community reaction was very blah, just like, these cards don't look that good, and this doesn't seem that strong, this doesn't seem that powerful, and a lot of that turned out to be right for the time that the expansion came out. And some cards became, stronger later on. We've seen cards from the TGT expansion that continue to see play in Wild. But I think the main difference between the feeling of the Grand Tournament and the feeling of this expansion, to me, is that if you're looking at it from Wild, like, maybe the cards themselves don't seem super crazy, but if you're looking at it from the perspective of someone who plays Wild, there's definitely going to be stuff in here that changes up some of the decks in Wild. Maybe not the top, tier 0, tier 1 decks, but, all the other stuff. But I think the big key here is realizing that this expansion is coming in as the set rotation expansion. And so we're losing, Old Gods, Karazhan, and Mean Streets of Gadgetzan. And there are a ton of cards from those 3 expansions that have been key staple parts of these decks that people have been playing for the past 2 years. And those are going away. That in itself drastically will change things in Standard. And then having these cards come in, even though they're not, we're not getting DKs or quests or legendary weapons and big stuff like that, we're getting what I kind of see this as the solid core of cards, because this set of cards is going to form the foundation of what is getting played for this upcoming year and the following year. And so I think this expansion specifically, not being like bonkers, batshit crazy, is pretty good overall. And I wouldn't be surprised if Blizzard does try to, after the shenanigans that were Mean Streets of Gadgets and especially try to bring the overall power level down just a little bit with this set, and then kind of use that to go into the rest of the year and set up for the standard year next year. Long-winded, I know, but that's kind of I do definitely. I've been seeing a lot of these cards revealed and just going, ugh, really? That's boring. Don't care. That's been happening a lot with me. I think as the reveals continue, there will be a lot more exciting cards. But overall, I think it's important to keep the perspective that these cards are going to change stuff in Wild, no matter what, to a degree. And there's a huge shift coming for Standard. And that's going to open up a whole bunch of space for these cards to step in and make a difference. So, anything to add? Or subtract?
I think that was a pretty keen assessment of this set. It feels like it's a new core set. Like they're introducing a new set of classic cards, but just slightly different, slightly more powerful. I like that they're doing that instead of trying to start off a new standard year with a bunch of meme cards. These are just the cards that people are going to be using indefinitely. I say indefinitely, a year, however long. These are probably going to replace a lot of the old standard cards that people were still running, if there were a lot of those. Nothing too exciting, just solid, normal cards. Yeah, I think that's accurate.
Yeah, and like you said, a lot of these cards, they don't feel like they're shoehorning you into a particular type of deck. Like I say that with this Druid hand Druid cards up on the screen here, but a lot of them seem like, like Forest Guide. Where's that going to fit? I don't know. And that's kind of the thing that I think is pretty common with a lot of these cards, is that you look at them and you go, where does that fit? I don't know, so it must be bad. But you've got to understand that when the standard rotation happens, there's going to be a lot of space for new cards. And a good portion of these, I think, are going to fit somewhere. So... But all right, that's the stream today. We will be back probably when there's another 15, 20 cards to cover. And other than that, thanks for tuning in. Hope that you are at least excited for some of the cards that have come out so far.
What's your favorite card so far?
I figured you were going to put me on the spot. I almost put you on the spot with the same question. Let's see. Honestly, I might just have to say nothing.
You don't like the frog?
None of these cards, like some of these cards I like, either in concept or just in general, or even if I know they're bad, they're the kind of cards that I like to play. But none of these cards has really jumped out at me as like, yeah, that's a card I'm freaking excited about. So, yeah, I think right now I'd have to say nothing. Mm-hmm. So, what about you?
Well, I think it was Face Collector for a long time. I still like Face Collector. I think it's a cool card. But the more we kind of fleshed out the Sound the Bells card, I'm now thinking like, I can make a really cool combo with this card. I can do something fun with that. I can do an OTK that people aren't going to see. I'm sure it'll come out eventually, but since people don't watch our videos, maybe I'm the first person. Maybe I'm the first person to come up with this. And let's see, what all we talk about? Mana Addict, and what was your idea?
I don't remember. Well, we were talking about the Spell Paladin.
Spell Paladin. Spell Paladin just seems like a really fun deck that it seems fun to play. And people, like, if that doesn't become an archetype, I'm just going to be like, I'm playing Spell Paladin. People are going to be like, what the hell is this guy doing? I'm playing Spell Paladin. Leave me alone. It just seems fun.
I do think Forest Guide might be my favorite artwork so far.
He's fat.
Just on a like spontaneous, not looking at it too much, but so there's that. So
Okay.
we'll see. Next time we're on stream, we'll have another 15, 20 or so cards, and maybe one of those cards will pop out and be that card that makes me really excited. But who knows? I was gonna try to see if I think we were fairly right on a good amount of the cards on our guesses
Were we?
as far as what class they went for.
I know some of them I was wrong about. I think there was a wolf.
Like I know
I'm
we got Cheap Shot, we got Sound the Bells for sure.
sure I got it wrong.
Darius, we got. Yeah, I think we
Cough.
both thought this would be like Druid or something.
Yeah.
So
Well, I think we are learning a good lesson from this, though, and that's that you can normally judge a card by the colors they use in the artwork. So the Coffin Crasher's got a bunch of white, Emerus has a bunch of green. So,
Darius has a bunch of blue.
um,
Oh man. All right. Well, thanks for tuning into the stream, and we will catch you guys next time.